Hello and welcome everyone. I am Nathalie Seddon. I'm Professor of Biodiversity based in the Department of Biology, and I am a Fellow of Wadham College. I'm giving this presentation as part of this year's Open Day to give you an overview of studying biology at Oxford University and to outline the admissions process. So let's start with why you might want to study biology at Oxford. Well, first of all, you're taught by world-leading scientists. You also are given tutorials and are taught within the context of a very supportive collegiate system. There are many local resources for teaching, plus opportunities for international field trips. We offer a very wide range of both pure and applied subjects, ranging from genetics and molecular mechanisms through to disease, behaviour and tropical ecology, to biodiversity conservation, climate change and sustainable development. There are also opportunities for local and international lab and fieldwork, but as with the resources and opportunities for field trips, this of course will depend on it being safe to do so. Doing a biology degree at Oxford also acts as a springboard to a very diverse range of careers in research, civil society, government, and business. And I will be discussing or giving you a list of all the different types of careers people have after doing a biology degree at Oxford University. Let's talk a bit about the tutorial system. Usually you're given 1 to 2 a week, depending on which year you're in and which subjects you happen to be taking that particular term. These tutorials usually involve between 2 and 3 students, and they involve discussing the lecture content and related materials with very experienced tutors. Sometimes they will be the lecturers themselves or members of their research groups. The point of the tutorial system is to challenge each student to think critically and, of course, to communicate ideas and debate ideas in science very clearly. And these tutorials offer an opportunity to clarify issues in a way that's not possible in larger groups. We also have a great range of local teaching and research resources. Just on the outskirts of Oxford, there is the Whiteham Woods area, which is a beautiful area of mixed deciduous and managed woodland, which has been studied semi-continuously for many, many decades and provides rich opportunities for doing fieldwork as part of your degree course. We also have the Natural History Museum, which has internationally significant collections of natural history specimens and archives. It's in a particularly beautiful building, which is a stunning example of neo-Gothic architecture, and many events and research and teaching opportunities focused on the science of the natural environment take place there. It's also a very interesting space, as it's actually where Darwin's theory of evolution by natural selection was first debated. We also have the Field Druce Herbarium, which was established in 1612, and it includes the oldest herbarium in the United Kingdom and the 4th oldest herbarium in the world. And collectively, the herbaria hold approximately 1 million botanical specimens, including at least 35,000 type specimens from across all taxonomic groups and geographical regions. So that's an important resource, again, for project work and for learning. We also have the Botanic Garden and Harcourt Arboretum. So there are many local teaching and research resources available to our undergraduates. So let's talk through the biology degree itself. As you'll be aware, everybody applies for a 4-year M.Biol. However, you can choose to opt out of after 3 years if you so wish and graduate with a BA. And it's important to note, though, that progression to a 4th year, if you want to do it, is of course contingent on satisfactory academic process in the previous 3 years. So the format is as follows. There are generally about 8 hours of lectures per week. We have research skills training, around 7 hours of that per week. We also, for 1 hour a week, have opportunities for class discussion and feedback. And as I've mentioned, we have between 1 and 2 tutorials a week, each of which are usually 1, possibly 2 hours, depending again on what year you're in and what courses you're studying, what modules you're studying. In the first year, we have an orientation session. In other words, an opportunity to learn a bit more how Oxford University works, how it is different from school. We realise that this is a big transition moving from school to university. And we also recognise that we've all had, you in particular, have had a very disrupted year, and that this orientation phase is a really important phase that helps get everyone up to speed. So you don't really need to worry about arriving and feeling slightly unprepared because of all the COVID pandemic related disruption and other disruption that you've experienced. And in this orientation phase, we want to really explore with you how people do science, as well as understanding facts. Of course, you need to understand the scientific process. What is the scientific method? So in week 1, we will look at the tree of life. Looking at Darwin's, understanding how we get from Darwin's ideas of natural selection to modern phylogenetics. We talk in week 2 about how we understand a world that we can't see, and we take a peek into the cells and genes and their ever-advancing technology. In week 3, we discuss the idea that nothing in biology makes sense except in the light of evolution. It's a famous statement made by the evolutionary biologist Theodore Dobzhansky. What does it mean, and can we see this process in action? And at the end of week 4, we will give you a mini project. This will be an opportunity to put your newly acquired skills into action and to try to answer a specific scientific question. Of course, you will be helped through this process by an expert. There are 3 major themes in the first year, 3 compulsory strands which are woven into a coherent narrative with lectures, research skills, training and tutorials along the way. These themes explore the diversity of life, building a phenotype from genes and cells to individuals, and the 3rd theme is evolution and ecology. In terms of the diversity of life theme, we take an exploration or provide an overview of all life forms, from the first cells to bacteria, plants, fungi, animals, and more. And we outline and discuss the key evolutionary transitions in Earth's history. In the building a phenotype theme, we look at genomes, genes, and the structure and function of cells. And we take an exploration of developmental biology as a subject and understand and explore how cells can build bodies. The evolution and ecology theme looks at how evolution works, how organisms interact with their environment, and ends with a field course in Pembrokeshire, Wales. In year 2, we begin to specialise. We choose 3 out of 4 themes. These 4 themes are genomes and molecular biology, cells and developmental biology, behaviour and physiology of organisms, and ecology and evolution. We also have compulsory skills training as part of year 2. So we have 16 lectures on statistics and experimental design. And each lecture is accompanied by a 1-hour-long computer class where the principles that are taught in the lecture are then illustrated with hands-on examples. There is also a 2-week skills course in Trinity term at the end of the 2nd year. So immediately after your 2nd year examinations, you will have this course which is oriented towards hypothesis testing and is intended to be challenging and open-ended. These courses are designed to prepare students to take on a 4th-year project, and students tend to work in small groups, with each group collecting its own data, and a variety of lab and field courses will be offered. 3 of these courses are residential field courses, entirely or partially away from Oxford. One in Borneo with a focus on tropical ecosystems, of course, one in Tenerife, and one in Skoma. The Tenerife has a focus on plants, and the Skoma field course has a focus on birds. Now, of course, whether or not we can hold these courses will depend very much on government or other country rules that are in place at the time, travel restrictions related to the pandemic. And if these courses are not possible to run, we will be able to provide local replacements or online alternatives. In year 3, we see specialism increasing, and we have teaching in this 3rd year curriculum starts in the 5th week of Trinity term in the 2nd year and continues to the end of Hilary term. Sorry, this slide should say 2022, I apologise. The 2nd year themes will continue into the 3rd year, and 2nd year knowledge will be assumed by those teaching in the 3rd year. And some 3rd year modules are shown below. So we have advanced cell biology, animal behaviour and physiology, genome diversity and evolution, ecosystems conservation, sustainable development, grand green challenges, advanced ecology and evolution development, disease prediction and dynamics. So those are the modules that we offer in the 3rd year. And then in the fourth year, which is optional, as I've explained, and your ability to undertake the fourth year will be contingent on your academic progress in the previous 3 years. It includes advanced skill courses, an extended project. There will be lab or fieldwork possibilities, and it will run for 2 full terms. So now to the research that is conducted within the Department of Biology. So there are 7 broad themes, which you can read about here. Biochemistry and systems biology is the first one. Plant ecology, evolution, and systematics, the second. Cell biology, the third. And then we have ecology and conservation in the changing world, animal behavior, evolution and development, and infectious diseases. Research on these topics involve field studies, lab experiments, and theoretical modeling. The study organisms involved range very widely from birds and mammals through to insects and plants, bacteria and viruses. The research addresses both fundamental theory-driven questions, but also an increasingly highly applied topics. And much of the work is increasingly relevant to addressing the major 21st century challenges that we face around climate change, biodiversity conservation, health and welfare, and sustainable development. People go on to pursue a very wide diversity of careers after a biology degree at Oxford. Many do, of course, go on to continue in academic research. So they go on to do PhDs, postdocs, some go on then to become lecturers, and some do then go on to become heads of research groups. However, there are many other types of careers that are also pursued, for example, in the civil service, in the conservation and development sectors, in consultancy, in science communication, even in law, policy, medicine, healthcare, journalism, and so forth. So very wide variety of subjects, of careers are pursued. And this is just, there are many others beyond this list as well. I think a degree in biology is incredibly important, whatever you decide to do with your life. So when you apply to Oxford, it's important to recall that not all colleges at the university do offer biology. Here is a list of the ones that do. Choice of college doesn't really matter greatly. The education is basically the same. The college is where you live, where your friends are mainly in the first year. Lectures, practicals, public exams, and so forth are university-wide and held outside, generally speaking, outside the colleges. Things to consider when you come to choose a college: is the subject offered? As I mentioned, do the biology tutors or biology fellows conduct research on topics that interest you? What's the accommodation like? What's the library and computer provision like? Can I defer if you want a gap year and to do work experience or travel and so forth? Is that possible at that particular college? How many students do biology there? Will you be one of a small or will you be one of a large cohort? Would I feel comfortable there? Now, note that around 20% of applications are open. In other words, no college is chosen. And those candidates are then allocated to colleges by us. Obviously, when you apply to Oxford, as with anywhere else, you need to fill out your UCAS forms. And we use a wide range of information available on the UCAS forms to determine whether or not to offer somebody a place. GCSE results are important. A and A-star grades are required, but there's no magic number that guarantees success. In terms of A levels, we require an A-star, AA. A-level biology must be one of those 3, plus a second A-level or equivalent in either chemistry, physics, mathematics, or further mathematics. When it comes to the IB, we require a total score of at least 39 points, including core points, with 7 at the higher level in mathematics or a science, preferably biology. Other equivalent international qualifications are, of course, also accepted. And there is there are university pages on international qualifications on the university website that you should look at if you're doing if you're from another country. You must be predicted A-star, AA, as I say, with the A-star in biology, chemistry, physics, or maths. Personal statements are very important. These are read very carefully. We need you to include information about what makes you passionate about biology, how you've built on this interest in biology. In other words, evidence that you have that passion because of the extracurricular activities you've engaged with or the types of work experiences you've pursued. We want to know about things that have really inspired you, things that you have read, experiences that you have had that have really motivated you to take biology at undergraduate degree level. We want to know about your recent relevant achievements and ambitions and relevant work experience, summer schools, volunteering, and so forth. And please understand that your potential, your academic potential, is at least as important as achievement. So when it comes to interviews, each year we receive many more applications to read biology than the number of places that we can offer. And so we cannot interview everybody who applies. We therefore go through a shortlisting process. We shortlist the applications with the aim of interviewing those who display the greatest potential as biologists in their UCAS forms. So if you have achieved a strong run of GCSEs or equivalent, by which we simply mean one of the top sets of grades within your own school, and you have a very deep interest in biology, then we will want to see you at interview. However, please ask your teacher to put your grades in context in the UCAS reference, and do tell us about your scientific interests in your personal statement. So we take account, it's important to emphasise, the full range of information available to us at shortlisting, including information about school performance and any other specific factors that may have affected your achievement. So if you think you meet our admissions criteria, it is always worth applying. And if you've already taken your A-levels or equivalent, we will usually interview you if you have met our standard offer and also display a deep interest in biology that we are always looking for. During the interviews, the idea is to determine your potential and your passion for biology. We try to make you feel at ease and have a lively discussion. We are not testing memory or knowledge of facts. The main things we are assessing are your interest and general enthusiasm for biology, your capacity for critical thinking, the application of core knowledge when working toward answers to new problems, how you respond to hints, help, and encouragement. We also are interested in any evidence that you have read widely and beyond the basic biology curriculum. And of course, we want evidence that you have high commitment, that you are diligent, and that you're willing to work very hard. What will we ask you during admissions? Well, we ask a wide range of different sorts of questions that test different sorts of skills. We often present you with data or graphics or specimens and ask you to observe and describe what you see. We might ask you questions about structure, function, and adaptations. We might present you with graphs and ask you to describe the graphs and ask you to explain what you see and maybe come up with a hypothesis that might explain any patterns that you have described. But we might also ask you more general questions that reflect your understanding of biology's relevance in the world today and the challenges that we face. For example, we might ask you, does climate change matter? Are rainforests important? And that sort of thing. So we make offers, generally speaking, to around 1 in 4 applicants. Offers are usually based on 3 A-levels, A-star, AA, or equivalent, at least an A in biology and an A-star in science or mathematics, as I've explained. Subjects must include biology plus chemistry, physics, or maths. And when it comes to IB, we look at, as I've already mentioned, at least 39 points, including bonus points, with a 776 in the higher level subjects, 7 in biology or in other science or maths. So every tutor or interviewer sees around 20 to 30 people. A pool of around 20 or so students are guaranteed a place to read biology if they meet the standard offer, but their college is not known until after. A-level and equivalent results are given in August, and we have this pool in order to make sure that all deserving candidates get a place, and this guards against colleges falling short of their quota if grades are not achieved. So why study biology in Oxford? Well, we believe it is a diverse, very forward-looking course taught by dynamic researchers and teachers. Teaching is directly linked to world-leading research, and we have a wealth of local resources for teaching and research. There are many opportunities for lab and fieldwork here and overseas. It's also possible to find financial assistance through the departments and colleges. And all students have a college with pastoral, social, and financial supports. And we have a tutorial system that produces graduates who are able to think critically, communicate, collaborate, and innovate. In other words, we aim to provide you with an education that will prepare you for the challenges of the 21st century, whichever path you take when you leave. I urge you to learn more about biology and to hear about the subject through the eyes of undergraduates. I urge you to watch this video on YouTube that the Department of Biology produced a couple of years ago. Thank you very much.